Hello there, Gia.
Hello, Keisha and everybody. It's very good to be back.
We missed you, I gotta say. Welcome back to
Yeah,
you, Gia. I
I
know
I
you
I
had
apologize.
you had the tough task of taking care of your dad. Um,
Yeah, yeah, and he did pass away, and it was rough. Everybody, it's such a human thing. This
yeah, yeah, that
saying goodbye
whole.
to the loved ones, but
Mm-hmm,
my brothers were with me, and we by the end of it we were laughing and telling stories and
mm-hmm.
being quite gross and just the usual family gathering that
Dynamic. Yeah,
in the
yeah.
family dynamic. So, but the
Uh-huh.
ironic thing is, while we were there, we were packing his place up and everything. We kind of like
Yeah,
did it all. We were like, well, we're all here, but I
yeah.
just kept thinking like, oh God, Dad would love this. Dad would love
Right,
he the
right.
kind of guy that loved to have a project, and we were all together and we were packing and we were moving stuff and planning. And now,
Yeah.
it's like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't he have just enjoyed this so much? But
Yeah, that is the sad part, isn't it? Well, one of the sad
yeah,
parts.
yeah,
Yeah, I was thinking that I'm very glad that I did get to sort of meet both of your parents and get to know them a
you
bit,
did,
you
yeah, and
know?
you knew
Yeah,
them, kind of more at their peak, and so
yeah,
um,
yeah.
you know, these like the older people, they're different people. Like, we're always different people in our lives. And so,
Mhm,
like, older dad, he was a funny dude, he had some quirky shit going on. And,
mhm, mhm.
but I think you saw him kind of when he's at the peak of his faculties still. And so I'm
Yeah,
glad about
yeah.
that too. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and I think, like, if we had grown up with each other, like, through elementary school or high school or whatever, we would have known each other's parents, but we met each other in graduate school, and you don't always get to meet your friends' parents,
Right. That's
so
true. Yeah. Yeah.
so that
So,
was nice. That was nice. They were both lovely people. They would
oh,
say they're
thank you.
very different, your mom was quite different from your dad, but both,
They balanced each other
y
out. Yeah. It was
yeah.
a good
Mhm.
combo. I enjoyed your parents as well.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
were they were also good people. So, we were very lucky, weren't we, Gia?
Yep, yep, and that was the other thing is just like, my dad didn't have he was 90, almost 91, and he didn't have
Yeah,
cancer, and he didn't have
yeah.
Parkinson's, and he didn't have
Mhm,
Alzheimer's, so much
mhm,
to be grateful to have. Some people's parents, like,
mhm.
die in their 50s or whatever, and
Ye
I like, wow, gosh,
yeah.
I got so much extra time that,
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
so, it's like a battle, but we all kinda got through it, and,
Yeah, yeah, that is a good way to put it, I think.
so we're glad to be back and glad to be talking about fake drama.
Yeah, I
Um,
was gonna say also, yeah, that's where our soap operas and our stories, they're so helpful because they sort of give us a break,
right, a
from
break, but
the day to day.
they touch on all these emotions. They touch
Yeah, that's
in
true.
weird, heightened
Mhm.
ways. But
Yeah,
yeah, I had
heightened, yeah.
no. I could have kept up in the couple of weeks that I was gone. I could have
Mhm.
Hulu'd, but I just couldn't do it. Also, I was very busy
Yeah.
watching like a lot of Blue Bloods. Um,
Sure, that would be a little bit of a shift, I guess.
Because that whenever my dad's around, that's the TV is just on Blue
Yeah,
Bloods if
yeah,
possible. So,
yeah.
and I kept
Uh-huh.
trying to distract him with things, so I was,
Mhm,
but
mhm.
anyway, so I had a choice when I got back because I thought, oh my gosh, I've missed so much GH,
Yeah.
and so I could have done a marathon, but I was just like,
Mhm.
I'm gonna just dive in,
Uh-huh,
um,
okay.
and so I dove in on Monday, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, so you're pretty much caught up for this week?
Yes, I'm totally caught up
Mhm,
for this week, and I
mhm.
had the odd sensation that I hadn't missed that much.
Yeah, I suppose that's what they do, right? With the, backfilling of information and repeating stuff.
Yeah, I just felt like this Jason storyline hadn't moved along all that much.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, I guess that's true too. Um, yeah, there's a little bit of like sort of nuance that you might miss, little
sure,
like
sure, yeah.
moments of people sort of showing their true selves. But we can cover that if
Yes,
it comes up.
yeah, I'll have some questions.
Mhm.
there was some major breakups while I was out.
Yeah, yeah, uh-huh.
Dex and Joss
Right.
and um, Carly and
And
Drew.
Drew, yeah, that one. Can we start with that one?
Yeah,
Just
I was sorry to miss that.
I
I've been
well,
hoping for that for a while.
I know, and it happened so quickly. Like pretty much as soon as Jason came to town, Drew, he was petulant because
Excellent
Ca-
word. Petulant. Yeah.
thank you. Jason had, made a beeline for Carly's, and Drew was like, why didn't you call me? It's like, are you kidding? you
I
know?
think the last episode I saw was he had appeared in Carly's living room,
Yeah,
and then
that
Anna
was,
and
uh-huh.
Jaguar came to the
Right,
door, and he was
right.
hiding. But he
Yes.
apparently hightailed it out of there or something.
Yes, he did. He sort of snuck away. Um, And so Carly, yeah, she really didn't have much time with him, didn't have a chance to really get into any deep discussions, and obviously she was sort of overwhelmed, and
Right, right,
stunned,
yeah.
you know. And Drew, he was just like classic Drew douche, he's like, yeah, he'll always come first, and no matter, what he does, he doesn't, and he's like, for all you, she said something like, he never let me down, he was always there for me. And he's like, what about the last 2 years? He could have been sitting in a hammock drinking Mai Tais for all you know. And she's like, well, I hope that was all he was doing, which was a great line, because I thought she could have thought, how come you didn't find a way to get in touch with me or whatever, but I like that she was hoping that
She
he
was
hadn't
hoping he
been
was enjoying
suffering.
himself.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
you know,
Not yeah,
yeah.
not
But
dead under a pile of rubble and
right, right. And she said, but I'm afraid, the last 2 years were a lot worse than that, So it was a good comeback. And even though she wasn't quite ready, I don't think, for what Drew was saying, obviously it's for the best, especially
obviously it was
for
quite
her.
over. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
yeah,
awkward because I hadn't run across that information yet, and then I saw them in the courtroom scene today, and I was like, why is he coming in with Olivia and what's going on
yeah,
there?
yeah.
Uh, that was weird.
I know that was a
Um,
little weird that he was like palling up with Olivia,
yeah, that
because
was bizarre, and
because he's been a real asshole to Ned, right? So
yeah,
that's still
total
kind of
asshole, and
strange, but he doesn't really have any friends, so
yeah, he's
he's
gonna be
got
the
to
town pariah probably.
probably, but
Okay, what's another? Okay, so why did Joss and Dex break up just over him? Was he, and has he turned on Sonny? Because he was going into Anna saying he was willing to testify,
yeah,
and I was like, huh?
I have to say, like, if I was gonna sum up like my overall feeling of the last however many episodes that we haven't discussed, it's that everybody's been disappointing and a little bit
Everyone's,
confusing and a
and
little bit out of
that could be the
character.
shift to the new writers. They could be kind of
Yeah. To be honest, I felt like it's been very clunky. Like it's like let's say somebody writes the first page of a story and then you're asked to write the second page without like full knowledge of what the first page says. It
we
feels
used to.
kind of
My
like
mom used to
that.
do a thing like that with a drawing.
Uh-huh.
With us kids, like you'd be drawing a person, a body, and
Yeah.
then you'd fold the paper over, and so you just got like the neck, and you had to draw like
Right.
the
Right.
torso or whatever, and then we'd
Yeah.
unfold it and see what came of it.
Mhm.
Um,
Yep, so it's a little disconnected and stuff, and
yeah,
that's how
and my
it's
brothers
felt.
usually drew like X-rated parts on it or
Yeah.
stuff when it was
Yeah,
there.
wieners. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. Um,
I'm sure your mom loved that. She's probably like, why every time? Why do I keep hoping for a
My
different
poor mother. I
outcome?
mean, I was also a girl, but I felt like she was overpowered by the maleness of the family.
Oh,
Like everybody was
oh,
gross, and
ditto, ditto.
yeah,
Yeah.
so same, huh?
Yeah,
Same.
so
Um,
same.
so everybody's disappointing. Okay, but what was the
Mhm.
crux of their breakup?
Well, yeah, this is like where they were a little bit out of character, a little bit inconsistent. Nina came to Dex's apartment, and she was hoping somehow that he could fill her in on how Sonny was doing. She didn't realize that Dex had been, kicked to the curb.
Hmm.
Um, so and then like out of the blue, she said it was like so incongruous. She said,
Your vocabulary tonight is elevated,
thank you,
sister.
Gia.
Incongruous. Wow. I think I've only read that word. I don't even know if you're pronouncing it
I
correctly, but
know. As I was saying it, I was like, can I land this?
you stuck the landing like Nadia Comaneci, it was amazing. Okay, but carry on.
Thank you. Um, so Nina said something about how she had seen Dex at the hospital that day with Cyrus, and she just sort of let it hang there so that Joss didn't quite know what she was talking about, and Dex was sort of forced to tell her after Nina left that he was supposed to kill Cyrus, but he didn't, and Joss acted like this was
Oh,
like just brand new information that he might be sent to kill people once in a while. Even
oh
though when she
yeah.
met him, wasn't he beating somebody up? I mean, it was like,
Yes.
you
Or he
know,
was getting, wait, was he beating? Yeah, he and Sonny were beating somebody up. Yes. That's right. Yeah.
so it just seemed so silly that,
Hmm.
suddenly she's all super judgmental and stunned and acting like, she would never be with someone who would hurt anyone, you know.
Hmm. Yeah.
So she told him, she couldn't be with him. She didn't feel like she knew him anymore. And she ran home to Carly and told her, what had happened. And Carly, it
And
was
Carly's
good.
probably like, toughen up, Buttercup. Like,
Yeah, basically, she's like, you're not looking at this like with all the information. I mean, you don't know what Dex would have faced or whatever if he hadn't, followed these orders. Stuff like that. She tried to sort of school her a little bit, but Joss was
yeah.
like, I can't be with somebody like that. So we'll see.
Mm.
We'll see if that lasts. And then yeah, Dex also, he was like, because on the one hand, he was acting like even though he didn't like everything Sonny did and was advising him against certain things, he definitely was loyal to him in a way and saw a lot
Right.
of
Yeah.
good in him. So yeah, I don't know if it was Joss breaking up with him that made him
So
think,
that came out a little bit out of the blue when what he was saying to Anna today about willing to testify. I was like,
well,
huh?
he had visited her, Anna, like I guess shortly after Joss broke up with him, and yeah, because he thought he would come clean about the Cyrus thing, and maybe that, I guess maybe he was hoping that if he paid the consequences, Joss would, think better of him, But Anna, like, it was so classic Anna, she's like, you can't. We have to pretend we never had this conversation, if you testify, you'll be killed. And I don't want that, So he left. And then he came back today, with the same story. And it was like,
And
she
now
gave him
she
this.
wants him to be a cop in the mess.
Yeah.
Like,
Which,
oh,
yeah, I don't know how that would work. I mean, I guess at least it pulls Dex back into things a bit,
I was glad my old man wasn't watching during that part because he would have started, being like, that is ridiculous. You can't just hire somebody, like he would have gotten into the lack of realism. But I was confess in my head thinking like, don't you have to actually go to some like police academy? Like, remember at the start
Well,
of Charlie's Angels, we see them all like graduating from.
that's where we get our knowledge of about how
They show Chris operating the switchboard. Like, they obviously weren't meant for the straight-laced police world, but they're like
Right,
kick-ass
right.
private detectives.
Yes. Well, is Dex gonna be maybe more of an informant or something? I'm not sure.
Oh, it sounded like she wanted to just hire him as a
Yeah, it
cop,
did, didn't
like,
it? Yeah, who knows how that'll go. And I don't know if Dex, I don't know who he's in danger from necessarily at this point. Everybody,
you'd think
nobody.
everybody, even they haven't
Yeah,
really. I was worried about him before because you'd think
yeah,
other mobsters would grab him, and try
yeah,
to torture him for inside information about Sonny's organization. But
yeah.
they don't. He just is walking around free as a bird. Nobody's bothering him.
Right. So yeah, it's confusing. And then I don't know, like I feel like it isn't Jason sort of at risk if he's out walking around? I don't know.
Well, I'm confident Jason can take care of himself.
Yeah. But Jagger has revealed himself to be a complete douchebag also.
Yeah, and I mean, is that really the motivation they're going to hang on this new dude?
That
That
he has a grudge
they
against
a
Jason
grudge against Jason
Quartermain.
Quartermain from
I
high
know.
school. They've gone all
Yeah.
the way through their lives, and he's
Yeah.
gonna, like,
Suddenly
that seems a little silly.
it
So
it does. Yeah. And there
I
was a
don't know how I'm
line.
feeling about these new writers so far.
I know, not super impressive. Did you see when Carly was talking to Jagger about this Jason Quartermain era or something? Was that when he was talking about it?
I think
He,
so. And she was like, "Oh,
yeah.
didn't you love the same girl?" or something like
Oh
that.
no.
That will look
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it.
I think I'm thinking of there was a conversation he had with Anna when she went over to have drinks with him. I don't know if you saw
No,
that
I don't.
day.
I didn't see that.
Okay.
No.
This was after Jason had was it after Jason had confided in Jagger? I can't remember now. But anyway, she went over to Jagger's, I think with some agenda, some hidden agenda, just to sort of act like she wanted to get closer to him. So
Yeah.
they were having some wine or something, and he was talking about his history, and he asked her why she had this loyalty to Sonny, and she was trying to convince him that she didn't anymore. I guess it was after she talked to Dex the first time. And she said, well, because he took care of Robin and Stone, when they weren't sure if either of them were going to live, and I was nowhere to be found, So she was very convincing. And then he said something like, yeah, he was more of a brother to Stone than I was, or something. And that's why I hate him. And it's like,
Oh, well, that
you know,
makes more sense. But
yeah, but at the same time, that's such a petty thing to say because, like, you should hate yourself because you didn't step up as a
well,
brother.
yeah, it doesn't make him sound like a
You know?
good person, but it's a
Yeah,
stronger motivation
yeah,
than we liked the same girl back in high school, and
yeah,
that just
and
sounds like
that was him
idiotic.
saying, yeah, he hated Sonny because Sonny was more of a brother. So then
Oh,
when
I
he
see.
talked,
Okay,
you
okay.
know,
So,
but
yeah,
then when he talked about like Jason and hating Jason Quartermain or whatever, having this grudge against him, it's like, so yeah, all all of this is going back like what 20, 25
yeah,
years,
yeah. It's kind of putting a little bit of the kibosh on my pants feelings for him, so I don't like hearing all this.
I had a feeling
I think if he
it would.
simply had a haircut, I'd probably lose all pants feelings for him. I think it's just his hair.
It's just
That's Yeah. Okay. Speaking of pants feelings, I've just got a
uh-huh.
few more questions, and then we can move forward.
Okay, okay.
So I see that Sonny and Ava are still, kind of doing the little sexual tension dance.
Yes,
Um,
they are.
but it almost seems now like, and when the last episode I saw, um, on that storyline, Ava had kind of reined herself in and
Mhm.
realized her friendship with Nina meant more to her, and she was going to work her darndest to get Nina and Sonny together again. And she seemed genuine in that moment.
Yeah,
So what's
yeah.
happened to that plan, and what's going on with she and Nina?
Yeah, that was never mentioned again.
Oh, that was the old writers.
That was the old right. Yeah, it was like that. Just they dropped that. I don't know if she's even really seen much of Nina since
Oh,
then.
because I thought maybe something happened and she was just like, "Oh, screw you, Nina." And, okay.
No, no, it's she's just it. Well, this is another thing that was disappointing. And Ava, she's been sort of inconsistent also because a few days ago, I think, or maybe it was this week. Maybe you saw this one when she started to tell Sonny that she thought Jason wasn't someone he knew or could count
Yeah,
on
yeah,
anymore.
and said,
You
"Look how
know?
quickly he and Carly got together." Yeah,
Yeah,
and I was like,
yeah,
Wait a minute." She's gone kind of back and forth on a lot of people, and
yeah.
like she's trying to manipulate Sonny.
Exactly,
Um,
exactly. And then she sort of came around today a little bit and was
yeah, and
acting
I was like,
like,
"What is going on?" I was
yeah,
wondering if there was an agenda that I
yeah.
didn't know about. You know,
Mhm. Mhm.
I don't know. But so has she like declared pants feelings for him, or
Well, it seems like she believes that would be to her advantage, I think, if
do we think this is just a calculating move on her part, or do we believe in the romance?
I feel
Um,
like it's maybe both, but definitely not just romance, I don't think. I
mm.
don't know, cuz it does feel like she's been manipulating him a bit, and
Yeah, I mean, she's kind of got him all alone there, and
yeah, yeah.
he's shut out everybody else, so she's the only one, like,
Right, and she's telling him everything he wants to hear or needs to hear, she's sort of
yeah,
got him in this position where she can make
it's like
herself look really good.
Elvis and the Colonel, or something.
Yeah. Yes, it's just like that.
Yeah,
Um, yeah.
interesting. Well, I'm
Mhm.
still liking their dynamic, but I was
Mhm.
confused by
Yeah.
the different takes she had on people, and whether
Mhm.
Sonny could trust them or not, or I
Mhm.
just didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
Um,
Right. And yeah, Sunny, like it's I guess this is deliberate and it must be deliberate on the writer's part that so many people that you would have thought would have believed in Jason don't seem like they do, or they're willing to like believe that he might have done this, shot
yeah,
Dante, you know?
yeah, that's really shaking up the like kind of core of the show, like Sam
Yeah,
turning on Jason. It's like, wow,
exactly.
wait a minute.
Yeah, I thought she was pretty awful to him. And I don't
Um,
know. I mean, I know he was gone for a while, but I feel like most of them would have sort of knowing Jason like they do, they would have believed there was a reason.
right, that he hadn't just totally changed and decided to
Yeah,
come back and
yeah,
shoot Sonny and Dante. But
right.
I don't know. I was kind of enjoying her little moment there with him today.
Yeah.
Just because I started thinking about all the absent fathers, and
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
But
But
yeah, she turned on him.
mhm.
Who else has turned? Well, Sonny, of course, but Sonny's always flip flopping on people. Um, but that was kind of like Carly was just incredulous at the end of
Yeah,
today's
yeah,
episode. Like she
yeah, yeah.
just couldn't believe what she was hearing.
Enough that it seemed like it got his attention for a second.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, and then she had a good point. How many times has Jason saved him?
yeah. And I just want to go on record to say I'm totally on board with Sonny. I mean, with Carly and Jason.
Getting back
Um,
to it.
yep, yep.
Yeah. Yeah,
Because
me too.
they like, to me, that relationship was like the most important relationship for her
Yeah. Yeah.
ever.
Uh-huh.
Um, I just feel like that's the believable. I believe that she's over Sonny. I believe, like, as long
Yeah.
as they were together, whatever, but I still
Mhm.
feel like what she had with Jason is something that's never gone away.
Yeah,
Um,
and Sunny, I think as much as I think they sort of respect each other, there is always some work involved,
yeah, yeah,
and
right. And
Jason's
she
just
and
like,
Jason, it's pretty unconditional, like for
yeah,
both of them.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. I mean, they don't really even have to speak, It's
Yeah,
like
they both just kind of
sometimes
tear up.
yeah,
Jason's gotten better at tearing up.
he has, and she's really so good at acting, heartbroken and distraught and stuff
Yeah,
like that,
yeah. I
So,
think that Jason's hair looks different, like the texture of it.
yeah, yeah,
It
well,
looks fuzzy, but maybe he doesn't have the
okay.
same products when he's locked up that he does on the
I'm
outside.
sure that's it. Yeah, I'm sure that's it. I don't know if he had access to all those products when he was a mercenary. Maybe he didn't,
Yeah,
you know.
right, right.
Um,
I
but
keep seeing little I don't want to see them, but lines
mhm.
about, Brit still being alive
I know, I know. I
and
was
I'm
thinking, yeah. Did you see the day when Anna and Jason were in at the police station and he was telling her everything?
I yeah, cuz she revealed that who Jaguar was
Yeah, yeah, that's
and
right.
and then
And
he
that
yeah, and then he suddenly like let her know everything.
yeah,
Um
yeah.
yeah, so I did see
Mhm.
that. What about it?
Well, that was also where she told him that Britt had died.
Oh, right. And that I was a little bit like seriously, like you're totally out of like how could you I don't know. I guess we don't know what information would have been kept from him or how I don't know. It just seems like
Yeah.
in this day and age you can find out everything about everybody.
Yeah, I
Um
guess he's not the kind of guy who's gonna check somebody's Instagram, or anything, to see if
or
they
Facebook.
yeah, he doesn't strike me as a social media kind of guy. But
Yeah, what do they call it on there? They have a different name for
oh yeah, yeah, I
book
forget.
face.
Yeah, they're
No,
very
they've
clever.
got some name for it that was I was like,
Yeah,
oh, it's like they're like a
yeah,
little alternate universe.
right,
Um
right. But
Anyway, I guess that's all the questions I have at the moment. Um, so you can guide us forward on further discussions of current plot lines or
all
set
right.
decor or whatever your little heart desires.
Okay, well, I made a list, I think, of most of the characters that
Wow,
have
you
appeared
really did.
in
Okay.
the last, like, at least couple of weeks. So we've talked about Sunny, Jason, Carly, Dex, Joss, Anna. I must say that I'm liking Anna more. I think when she's like hanging with Jason, and talking to him and stuff, I feel like we're getting a little bit more like of
The old
interesting
old
Anna.
school
Yeah,
interesting Anna.
yeah.
Okay.
Although I still don't know quite where she stands. I mean, I guess she is an officer of the law first and Sonny and Jason's friend second. But sometimes
Yeah, at
it's
some
hard
point
to
that
know.
there's going to be a conflict there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um we had there was some Brooklyn. There was some
So we had Brooke.
deception drama that wasn't very interesting really.
Whoa,
But
while I was gone. Okay, so I don't know about
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was another area where Lucy was like sort of unrecognizable in a way. She There was a photo shoot where Sasha didn't look they used the word like edgy enough for this magazine, cover, and the photographer or whatever was saying that basically, that wasn't working, and so they were going to call it off. And so Lucy and Sasha, well, Lucy decided that maybe they should get another model or something or spokesperson. I don't know. And the way she handled it was so sort of insensitive that everybody got
Hmm.
upset. Cody quit and then Sasha quit and Maxie was just like completely livid at how Lucy had handled all of this. And I don't know what was going on with Lucy. I don't know why she would destroy basically the core of deception
Hmm.
unless she has some angle that I'm not aware of yet. But anyway,
Well, I'm glad I missed all that then. Yeah.
yeah, it was stupid unless like maybe it will free Maxie up to do something else. I don't know. But deception was, it was a big company for a while.
I love how you talk like it. It sounds so real. You know?
Well, I thought it was kind of a good name for a
Yeah. Yeah.
cosmetic company, and I
Yeah.
thought when you have a company called Deception and your model is Sasha, who does look very wholesome, it's
Right. She
maybe
really
maybe not
does.
a
Yeah.
great fit. But anyway. And Cody, oh, there was a scene with Cody at the stable and he had little James hanging out with him, and then Tracy came over and they had a lovely little scene with the three of them. Tracy
I thought you didn't
continues.
like. I thought you had like creepy feelings about Cody and the
I
children
Yeah,
that you were.
I do. I still think it's unnatural, but it was it made more sense because James was over there like helping Cody with the horses, and James takes
Okay.
riding lessons and stuff. It's not like, having a sleepover with Cody at his house, you know.
God. Yuck.
But
Even just saying that is giving me a yuck feeling. But did
yeah.
we get to see Comet? I'm going to move the topic. Oh, did we get to
That
see Comet
yeah,
or
well, yes, that at least that's the name Cody mentioned. Is Comet the black horse?
no?
Who was
He's
the
white.
Yeah, so it wasn't the white horse. It was a dark
Oh,
colored horse. So,
I hope
but
Comet hasn't moved on to the pasture in the sky.
I hope so too.
Mhm.
I think he just maybe he got a movie.
Got a better kick out. He's in that movie with Spencer, probably.
Yeah.
Huh.
um,
Okay. All right.
Another thing, and maybe you saw this too this week, I guess it was when Christina was talking to Molly, and Christina was another one who suddenly doubted Jason.
Yeah, yeah, totally just based on Sunny's opinion of what yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
she was
she
trying to
was
tell Molly how to like argue the
yeah, she was
case or
being
something.
very annoying, very
Yeah,
annoying.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was all tedious. I just
Yeah, it went on a really long time too. I was like,
It
if I
did.
had been
It
Molly, I
did.
would have been like, okay, got a
Yeah.
job. You need to leave. You shouldn't
Yeah.
even be allowed in here right now. And
Right, right. And
yeah,
and who are you again? Are you the DA or no? No, you're just Sonny's
yeah,
daughter telling me what to
yeah.
do. So yeah, that was rough. Oh, another thing, another person who was disappointing was Willow. Um
So
because
Willow, I was like, why is Willow being all nervous? So I gather Willow and
Mhm.
and Michael helped the injured Jason somewhere, and
Yeah, Jason, after he left Carly, he went to the bridge, the old bridge they
yeah,
like,
yeah,
and then of course Anna thought that that's where he would go. So she and Jagger showed up there shortly after he did, and Jason jumped off the bridge into the water, and then he showed up at the boathouse at the Quartermains, and he passed out, and his son Danny found him. So Danny was
right.
the
Okay, I
first person to
gathered that.
find him. Yeah. And he went and got Michael, and Michael got Willow to help patch him up and stuff. And
Yeah.
Willow, from the beginning, I would say Willow was very tight lipped, and sort of acting like, I don't know, like not the typical Willow, like even though obviously she knows that they shouldn't be harboring a fugitive or whatever, but she's got to know how important Jason is to Michael and to Carly, like her whole like second family, and it just seemed like she was sort of judgy and paranoid, and I don't
Hmm.
know.
Okay. All
I
right.
don't know, like she was
Too
starting to
bad.
freak out, about like
Yeah,
the
she was being real weird in the hospital. It took
yeah.
me a while to put that together, but
Yeah, yeah.
and
So I don't know.
we got to see a lot of the teenage boys this week.
Mhm. Yep.
And it always
Yep.
takes me a minute. I'm like, okay, they're going to be featuring them, so I really need to get straight who's who
Right.
and who
Right.
the parents are for each one.
Yeah. Oh, that's a tough one. Yeah, the parent thing is tough.
Yeah.
And I don't know why Aiden has to be as tall as the others suddenly, because he seemed like he was small the last time we saw him, like when
But that's the
Franco
same
was alive.
Aiden, isn't it?
Is it? Did
Or
he
is
shoot up that much?
It's the
Maybe
same
it
one it's
is.
been for a little while, I
Yeah, for
think.
a little while. I can't. I'm thinking back to like when Franco was alive and he
Oh
was
yeah,
baking and
yeah.
stuff. He
I can't
seems
recall if it was the same boy as
he
that
just
or
seems
not. But
smaller than the other guys at that point,
yeah,
didn't he?
yeah, yep.
But anyway, they all seem like they're the same age now.
They're doing a pretty good job though of being teenage
Yeah,
boys. Like I'm kind of
yeah.
believing them. And they
Mhm.
all have the like kind of annoying hairstyles, which teenage boys usually do.
Yes, they definitely have that, yeah. But Jake's
Yeah.
another one that I don't know why he's so bent on believing Jason's bad, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. But Jake's the one that was kidnapped by Helena, right?
Yeah,
Or that we
he's a
thought was
little
dead.
bit
Yeah.
he's a
So
little bit
he's
off.
got a lot of baggage for
He
sure.
does. He sure does. Yeah. Yeah. So he kind of goes to the extremes, I guess, you know. He wants
Yeah.
everything to be black and white, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Danny's a little more comfortable in the gray areas, I think.
Yeah. That's okay. So that's who
So
those boys are.
those
What else
boys,
did we see? What
let's see.
else?
Let me go back to my
Oh yeah,
list.
check your
Okay.
list.
Okay. Well, we had a little Elizabeth, you know, and she's a little bit on the fence, I think. You'd think she would believe in Jason, right?
Right, right. Yeah. Maybe they all these mothers are just suddenly like, you really haven't lifted a finger to raise these boys.
I know. I forget they all have kids with him, you
Yeah.
know, and they're
And
not
they're like
just like
that's
former lovers, you know.
yeah. Um
So that's
so she
true.
doesn't quite believe yet.
Well, she wants to believe he's innocent, but she also said, if he is guilty, then he should be arrested. So, and I also think that like Sonny, one of the things Sonny's basing his opinion on is that Jason was there on the roof with and so obviously he was there to shoot him, but he should know that if Jason was there to kill him, he would be
That he'd be
dead,
dead.
you
Right.
know? And
Yeah.
same
Well,
with the shooting that got
Sonny's
Curtis.
a boneheaded guy.
He
I
is,
can
yeah.
believe that he'd be think his thinking would be all wrong on this. But yeah, the other people
The
should
other
be
people, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
They should know that Jason wouldn't screw that up and that
yeah.
maybe that is why Sonny's alive because Jason was there, you know?
Um Speaking of Sam, which we were
Mhm.
a while ago,
Mhm.
I liked her in the hospital today. Like I
Mhm. With
liked her
Stella?
I liked her with Stella, and previous to that, I liked her with Portia, kind of like being a bitch to Portia
Uh-huh.
and
Uh-huh.
being very upset about the transfer of Dante.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Mhm.
I just thought that was very based in realism, like this sudden
Mhm. Yeah.
change in his status, and I thought, and
Mhm.
frequently you do get bitchy with people in the hospital when you're just
Yeah.
um, you've just kind of had it, and you're like,
Yeah, you're ragged and
or you're ragged and on
mhm.
edge,
Yeah.
and it does seem like information in the hospital. You're always the last one to know, and like suddenly they're like, "Oh yeah, you didn't hear you. We're taking him
Mhm.
for this test or whatever,"
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
like you're so in the dark all the time, and you're just waiting around for doctors or whoever
Yeah.
specialists to come tell you something, and then
Mhm.
it just feels like you're so out of control of
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
And
Uh-huh.
so I liked seeing her do that. And then I thought Stella was, actually pretty masterful in bringing her
Yes. Yeah.
around.
I thought so
I was like,
too.
I
Yeah.
think she really could work in this role in a hospital for real.
I know.
So
I
for
know.
real. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I
and
thought that was good too, that interaction with
yeah,
Stella especially. Yeah.
and I liked that they talked about palliative care because I myself
Mhm.
had just learned the distinction between palliative care and hospice care.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I didn't know that," because I'd heard palliative, and I too had, in the past had freaked out, like, "What?"
Yeah.
What?
Uh-huh.
Because I thought that was identical.
Yeah. Well, I did think it was just to make somebody comfortable as they were dying, but I guess that is sort of the definition of hospice too, isn't it? So,
Yeah, well, I guess the clarification is that somebody can receive palliative care and not necessarily be dying,
yeah,
that it's
yeah. Uh-huh. I hadn't
yeah,
thought of it that way before, but yeah.
yeah. But anyway, I just thought those were all kind of realistic
Mm-hmm.
things happening, and realistic emotions that we were
Yeah.
seeing in Sam. And
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, and she looked a little more natural, like
yeah, she's so
less
tiny. I always
makeup,
forget
you
how
know?
tiny she is until you see
Yeah.
her with somebody else, and like, God, she's a
Yeah.
tiny little person.
Mhm.
A little more natural, like literally physically, like makeup and stuff,
Yeah,
or
yeah, it
what
seemed
she
like
was
there was
wearing.
less lipstick or whatever, so
All
she
right.
looked I thought she looked better, um,
Yeah, yeah. Um,
you
and she
know?
was in the hospital, so it'd be believable that she's not going to be all made up
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
yep.
Mhm. So, yeah, that was good. Okay, so we got through most of the people on my list. Let's see, we haven't seen Spinelli lately, and we haven't had the reunion yet between him and Jason,
Oh, we
which will be
haven't. Okay.
interesting. And I think he and Maxie, they seem like they sort of initially, at least, were pretty sure. I think that Jason was needed help. Like they're sort of on Team Jason. I think.
Okay, good. I'm glad somebody's on Team Jason.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, did they decide to go ahead and become romantically involved? Like they were kind of grappling with that, and then
Right. Well, there was the line they were out together. I think they were trying to find Jason, and then they ran out of gas in Maxie's car. That was a while ago, and they acted like they were all like they'd sorted everything out, all the issues about him like deceiving her and pretending he needed to live there. And then she said something like, "Well, and now you can move out." And that was like where they
huh?
ended
Huh?
this. But it's like the Ava Nina thing. It's never come up again.
Huh.
you know and I don't
Okay.
think we've
So
I don't think we've seen Maxie and Spinelli together much since then. He was
since
working
then,
at Deception a little bit to help with security or whatever, but yeah, as far as we know, there's he and Maxie are still good, but I don't know if he's going to continue to live there or not. We'll see.
okay, well, I'll try not to be too judgy about the new writers, but it does sound like things are being a little bit clunky here.
Very clunky, yeah. And I don't there's probably a way around that, but I guess it's too late now. um Then the only other scene that was somewhat interesting, I thought, was Gregory and Finn came into the hospital. Chase
All
and
right.
Brooklyn were already
Yeah.
there. Did you see that one? Did you
Yeah,
see that
yeah, and where
scene
he
where?
kind of blows up at them and says,
Yeah,
to back
yeah,
off, and
yeah. Which I guess
yeah,
is.
that was all right. That was good.
I wonder
Um,
if I don't know what they're going to do with him. I wonder if they decided months ago what they were going to do, or
that he's out, and
yeah, or
they're
could
gonna
they have
wring every
changed?
sad minute out of his rest of his time
Yeah,
on there.
I don't know. I don't know. So that'll be interesting.
We'll have a wedding soon. It sounds like.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
true. Hmm.
and but yeah, it is too bad they kind of redeemed that character, and now they're just killing him off.
I guess. Yeah, I don't know. There was a scene, it must have been while you were gone, where Finn called a friend of his who was sounded like he was in Afghanistan or someplace, like he was like working with military as a doctor or whatever, and he was running his dad's case by him sort of quickly to see if he had any new ideas.
Yeah.
But this other guy was sort of like, I don't have time.
Oh, nice.
You didn't get his side of the conversation, but that's sort of how it sounded, like he wasn't in a position really to like give it a
Huh.
serious look. So
Well, that sounds
I
like
don't
kind of a
know.
wasted scene.
Yeah, exactly, but I don't know if Finn would try again. Yeah, it was a
Well,
wasted scene if he doesn't.
they still might be laying the groundwork for a misdiagnosis or something. I
Yeah,
keep
that's
thinking,
what I was kind of hoping, that maybe that means Finn is going to keep looking just for,
yeah,
some
yeah,
sort of
just for
Hail
shits and
Mary thing.
giggles.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we'll see. Um, but that was that. Uh, yeah, so I guess we did sort of cover it. I mean, you're right. It didn't seem like a ton happened. And I guess mostly what happened or what struck me was just the general feeling of people not being completely on Jason's side. That was sort of what was
Yeah.
significant to me.
Yeah,
It is,
that's a little bit shocking. The people that were,
yeah,
Jason
yeah,
forever kind of,
yeah,
they
yeah.
decided to shake things up a little bit.
Mm hmm.
Um,
Mm hmm. Yeah.
we had a little. Only other scene I feel like we didn't talk about is we had a little bit of Trina and Joss, and sort
Oh,
of like
yeah. Yeah.
also related to Jason. Some of this
Yep.
stuff about. I was like, wait a minute, why is Curtis? Why what? Huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
That
Uh-huh.
was. But we had Trina being kind of bitchy to Joss,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Joss
Also,
being like
yeah.
total what
Yeah. Mhm.
but that's already kind of been resolved, and they're back to being
Yeah.
besties again, which I prefer, of course. But
Right. That I was disappointed in Trina for that initial
yeah,
encounter where she was kind of mean.
I
Um
do like I liked what they said about what she said about, and it, it applies especially to this soap where people
mhm.
come back to life all the time.
Yeah.
But
I was thinking
you
that
see,
too.
you get Jason,
I
and
know.
she's, but I don't get Spencer to come back to life, and
Well, it hasn't been that long. You just got to be patient.
just be patient. Yeah, he'll reappear.
I know. I was thinking that too.
But I remember like various, and this is actually this is kind of pathetic to say a bit. It was about a dog, but I remember after I lost a particularly precious dog, that like
Yeah.
my attitude, I like uh and I lost the dog suddenly, and my
Mhm.
grieving attitude, like to decide whether I was going to speak to people or not, and so
Mhm.
this sort of cut out all the people, was
Yeah.
that if you're not going to bring my dog back, if you have no,
Mhm.
then I am
Mhm.
not interested in
Yeah.
like having dealings with you. Like
Yeah.
uh
Yeah.
it just
Mhm.
wasn't worth it to me to converse with people for a while.
Yep.
Like they could
Yeah.
bring my dog back, but I was just like
Uh-huh.
not,
Mhm.
like in
Yeah.
my what's important to me in life is
Mhm. Mhm.
okay, the dog, and if you unless you have the power to bring this dog back, I
Mhm.
am not speaking with you. No,
Yeah.
thank you.
I think that's reasonable, Gia.
I got
Yeah.
over that. You know, I
But
moved on. But the bitterness and the anger and everything when somebody's
mhm.
taken from you suddenly.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um,
Yep.
you're there. Sometimes logic is, like fleas from your brain, and
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
you're just
Yeah.
a big, open, angry sore.
And
Um,
nobody can really say the right thing, so
no,
it's like a
no, no.
minefield that you've created around
Yeah.
you, where nobody's gonna win no matter what they try to do to
Right,
help you.
right. Unless they produce that lost person or
That
dog, in
Yeah,
which case you would like be friends
then
for life.
that's true
And
also,
it can
yeah.
happen on a soap opera. They do come back all the time. I mean, how many
All the
times has
time.
Jason come back from the dead? Like three or something.
Mhm. Yep, and, Jake, Elizabeth thought Jake was dead, right? And then
Right?
he
Right?
appears suddenly, so she now Jason too,
Yeah, you
again,
would become
so
conditioned
yeah,
to
she's
being like,
probably, like, still,
yeah.
like, waiting for Franco to reappear. I'm surprised
I
she hooked up with
know.
Finn.
I
Yeah.
was so bummed that they made it so that Franco really couldn't, I mean, that was
Yeah. Yeah.
um yeah, and who else? Nicholas come back from the
Mhm.
dead. I mean, it's
Mhm.
a long history of
Yes.
reincarnation.
Yes, it is.
Not even
Oh,
reincarnation. They come back as themselves.
yeah,
But
you know what? I forgot one sort of
what?
key piece, and I can't believe
What?
I think I forgot to put them on my list. Oh, no, I skipped past them, I'm sorry. Heather and Laura and Kevin. Um,
Oh, okay. What?
Heather, it turns out she had a hip replacement years ago, cobalt. It was made with cobalt, which has
Okay,
been,
I do remember like she was
yeah.
collapsing outside of
Yeah,
somewhere,
that's right.
like
That's
the
right.
last. Okay.
Yep. And so they think this cobalt has poisoned her through her blood, and that's affected her in various ways. And it could include how she's been behaving,
Like
like,
kind of like a Franco tumor thing. Like that's what
Exactly. It's like it runs in the family. They're not none of them are
wow.
bad people. They just have stuff in them that
God.
needs to be taken out.
Is there any, did you Google this? Is there any basis in reality for that, like
Uh,
personality change due to,
I didn't Google it, Gia, but I believed it.
I'm disappointed in you. Um,
So,
well, that could be a game changer, huh? They could be
yeah,
gearing up to turn her to redeem that
make
character.
her
I kind of
sweet.
like her as a crazy murderer, though.
I know you do. Yeah, it was they. She had some sweet scenes with Laura, and maybe
Wow.
they were a little too sweet because Laura was really starting to bend over backwards trying to give Heather the benefit of the doubt now that she'd heard this diagnosis, and so she was
What's
trying.
going to be the deal with Cyrus? Like, why is he, like, are we going
We
to?
haven't seen him in a while.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't
Okay, well,
know.
that's interesting. No, I had no clue about that. Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah. So Heather was supposed to undergo the surgery to have her hip thing replaced. And she's already, I think, being treated for the poisonings. And she seems like she's much more reasonable. And she's asking Laura, like, was I always this crazy? And Laura's like, no, you weren't, and but they had just some like sort of real moments.
Well,
Although
they're a couple of pros, so I'm sorry to have missed that, but
such
okay,
pro, yeah, well,
interesting.
you could watch those again. That was in the past week, so it might have been
Okay.
just Friday or something. I can't remember. Maybe just before you started watching.
All
Um,
right,
you
check that
know,
out. Oh, excuse me.
yeah. So that's interesting. But yeah, it's gonna be a little bit like good man, you because Heather's such a pro. Like, what if she's doing like pulling an Esme where she's acting like
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
you know and then you could
yeah.
always be wondering if she was like a ticking package underneath it all.
Well, that could be fun too. So I'm
Yeah,
on board.
yeah,
Anything they
yeah,
want to do with Heather, I like
yeah,
it.
yeah. So we'll see, but
Okay. Well, thanks for catching me all the way up here. I think pretty
hey,
well.
sure, Gia, and I'm sorry to everybody for not finding a way to fill in the time while Gia was gone. We did have lovely Nurse Amy for one episode, and I'm kind of hoping we could get her back sometime now that you're back,
Yeah, that would
Gia.
be fun. A real nurse. Okay, that would
Yeah,
be a
because
lot
I
of fun.
think you
Yeah.
would have some good questions for her. Maybe you could ask her about this cobalt poisoning.
Yep, I would like to know about that. Okay.
She did help explain to me how to perform an emergency tracheotomy,
All
and
right. With a
so
pen,
with a pen, she said you could even, if you're strong enough, you could use a paper clip to create the hole
right? But what do
and
you
then
put
insert the
into?
pen. Yeah, or yeah,
Oh,
either a
yeah. Okay.
pen
Right.
or
Yeah.
some sort of a tube.
I mean,
Yeah.
everybody's seen that MASH episode 8 million times, so we can all do it.
We can all do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
we're just waiting for the opportunity. Yeah.
Right. Just hold
Mhm.
still. A nurse, yeah, I feel like with a nurse we could also get into ER kind of stuff too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Mhm.
So we'll see. We'll see. But she was very kind to join me for an episode.
Phil, and I can't believe you couldn't just go on and talk by yourself for an hour and just drone on and on.
Just
With
droning.
your-
Well, I wonder what I would have fallen back on to talk
Well, it
about.
also would have been funny if you just done two different voices, and sort of done a back and forth. It could have been a really cutting edge experimental stuff. But no,
Okay.
you're lazy.
No,
You were too lazy.
I was scared. I think it's clear that you're the draw. I'm like the Ed McMahon to your Johnny Carson, and I just don't think
Well,
anybody
first of all, you're
wants
making us
Ed
sound wicked
McMahon.
old with
Well,
and it's kind of you to say, but I don't think that's true at all.
oh,
But
I think so, Gia. Yeah,
but
but
anyway,
it's
okay. Well, it's good to be
great.
back, and
Hmm.
and hopefully we'll do some more laughing next time, and
Yeah, yeah,
cover.
yeah.
I'll stay on top of these plot lines, and
Yep. Okay. So yeah, so we'll be back on Monday.
Yeah, okay. And thank you, lovely people. Oh, I'm not
Poor
bored.
Gia.
I just need to catch up on sleep more.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, you've had a rough
but let's
stretch.
yeah, thank God for Benadryl, or I wouldn't have had any sleep at all.
Oh, uh-huh, uh-huh.
But I will stay on top of the general hospital now, and we'll move forward with scintillating conversation and
Yeah, and a couple of multisyllabic
syllabic.
words.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good, Gia.
All right. Well, you have a
Alrighty.
lovely evening. We'll talk to you in a few days.
You too, Gia. Welcome back. And thank you,
Thank you.
everybody, for hanging in there with us.
Yeah. Thanks for your patience.
Alrighty. Good night.
Okay. See you next time.
Okay, goodbye.
Bye.